Okay, this is for Pastor Geno Jennings or any pastor out there. I'm so far into the book of the Kings. I wanted to read this book, but I'm not gonna read all of it. I just want y'all to get at me. I want y'all to let me know and help me understand what I'm missing because I've been struggling with this book for a while now. So I don't mind asking for help. If you got an answer that is sound right and is done right and you have done the investigation is right, then please get at me. Please send me a message. I don't know how you're gonna do it or how you can do it. You can get me on I'm on Instagram. I'm on Facebook. I don't remember my whole Facebook address and stuff, but I know if you email me, you can email me at maxilpierre, MAXCILPIERRE at the year 1987 at gmail.com. And I'll get back at you as soon as I see it. But let's go back and read the story. You know, Ahab dies. Then his son reigns in his spot. So it says, and Jehoshaphat, the son of Asa, began to reign over Judah in the 14th year of Ahab, king of Israel. Jehoshaphat was 30 and 5 years old when he began to reign, and he reigned 20 and 5 years in Jerusalem. And his mother's name was Azubah, the daughter of Shilhi. And he walked in the ways of Asa, his father. He turned not aside from it, doing that which is right in the sight of the eyes, in the doing what is right in the eyes of the Lord. Nevertheless, the high places were not taken away, for the people offered and burnt incense yet in the high places. Right? So I'm reading about this text, right? Then I get to the part where it says Jehoram rules Jehoram reigns over Judah, right? And this is what it says. And Jehoshaphat slept with his fathers and was buried with his fathers in the city of David, his father. And Jehoram, his son, reigned in his stead. Right? That's what it says. That's who's next to reign after Jehoshaphat, Jehoram. But that just is a summary of a story we're about to get into, so we know who was the next ruler. But it doesn't tell you what Jehoshaphat did, you know. But he took over after his father Asa. So I was watching this and I was trying to study this and I needed some help. I'm struggling with it because I am going through a transition where I have to get rid of the spirits that are in me. You know, the spirits that make you sin and do things that you shouldn't do. I see where they are, and I know because of the Holy Spirit that's, informed me and told me. Don't smoke, don't drink, don't do none of these things like that, because that's what the spirits prowl on. That's what they look forward to keep you going, to keep you high and keep you, sinning. And they usually can do this with people because people's conscience is asleep, meaning you're dead to the will of God, basically. So you're asleep. So that way, consciously, you can't fight against those desires. Usually, 9 times out of 10, you're gonna do them because, when you talking to a smoker, what does he do? He reaches into his pocket, he grabs a cigarette without even wrestling with his thoughts. He just, yeah, and he just has a whole full blown conversation with you. That's how sin is. Cigarettes is just an example, but many of you got sins that you fight with, that you don't fight with, that you just do. Masturbating, smoking weed, listening to dumb music like the rappers, you just do it. It sounds good to you. And believe me, the devils can make you feel and hear and understand what sound good to you till you say, yeah, I agree with that. They are that good at being con artists. They can play with your spirit like that. But anyways, let's get back to this. I'm trying to figure out who is Jehoram. I really want to know who this guy is because he's supposed to be. There's two of them. There's two of them. So it gets to the point where you read and it says, Ahaziah, the son of Ahab, who dies, who falls through. Let's see. It says, the Moabites rebelled against Israel after the death of Ahab, and Ahaziah fell down through a lentis in the upper chamber that was in Smyrna and was sick. And he sent messengers and said unto them, Go inquire of Beelzebub, the god of Ekron, rather I shall recover of this disease. Big mistake. God doesn't like fake gods being ruled or being, honored. So anyhow, he dies, as the scriptures say. I'm going to fast forward. It says, And he said and thus saith the Lord, For as much as thou hast sent messengers to inquire of Beelzebub, the god of Ekron, is it not because there is no God in Israel to inquire of his word? Therefore thou shalt not come down off of that bed and on which thou art gone up, but shall surely die. Right? So it says that. Now I'm looking like, okay, who's going to replace him? Because usually after the death, you hear about the son replacing the king, and he ruled about this many years in a certain time, right? So it says, so he died. Ahaziah died, the king of Israel. Ahab's son dies, and Ahaziah takes over. I'm sorry if I said something wrong. Ahaziah takes over for Ahab. Now it says also in this scripture that Ahab did not have kids. But listen to it. So he did according to the word of the Lord. So he died according to the word of the Lord, which Elijah had spoken. And Jehoram reigned in his stead in the 2nd year of Jehoram, the son of Jehoshaphat, king of Judah, because he had no son. Now, I heard two names, yet I heard the king of Ahaziah, the son of Ahaziah, did not have no sons. So now I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, this gotta be Jehoshaphat's son. That means that's Jehoram. So it says, Jehoram, the son of Jehoshaphat, king of Judah, because he had no son. So, and Jehoram reigned in his stead in the 2nd year of Jehoram, the son of Jehoshaphat, king of Judah, because he had no son. Right? So, being that he had no son, Jehoram reigned in his place. Now the question is, who is Jehoram? If he's the son of Jehoshaphat, if there was a Jehoram that ruled in Israel, and they said he reigned the 2nd year of the son of Jehoshaphat, the king of Judah, he reigned in his 2nd year, and his name is Jehoram. If both of their name is Jehoram, where did the first Jehoram come from? I was like, hold on. Let me reread that again. And Jehoram, this is after Ahaziah died, the son of Ahab. It says, and Jehoram reigned in his stead. Okay, he reigned in his stead. In the 2nd year of Jehoram. Whoa, wait a minute. The son of Jehoshaphat. So Jehoram reigned in his stead in the 2nd year of Jehoram, the son of Jehoshaphat, king of Judah. Okay, but Ahaziah had no son. So who is this Jehoram that's replacing him? And he's replacing him the 2nd year that the son of Jehoshaphat, whose son name is also Jehoram, is reigning. So after 2 years of the son of Jehoshaphat, Jehoram reigns for 2 years. Then this Jehoram reigns in Israel for 2 years. For a certain amount of years. I'm like, wait a minute. Hold on. Could the son of Jehoshaphat reign in Israel first? But how is that possible if it says he doesn't reign until the 2nd year of Jehoram, the son of Jehoshaphat, reigns 2 years in Judah? So how is it possible that he reigned in Israel first? If he doesn't reign in Israel, because it says right here, and Jehoram reigned in his stead in Ahaziah's place, the son of Ahab. He reigned in his stead in the 2nd year of Jehoram. Another name that's the name that's is like Damn, that's two of the same name. But he reigned in the second year of Jehoram, the son of Jehoshaphat, king of Judah. So now it sounds like king of Israel has the Jehoshaphat, and king of Judah, no, king of Israel has a Jehoshaphat, not a Jehoshaphat. King of Israel has a Jehoram, and king of Judah has a Jehoram. That's two Jehorams. But the Jehoram of Israel don't reign to the second year of the Jehoram of Judah. You get what I'm saying? So there's two Jehorams. One is in Israel and one is in Judah. But the one in Israel don't reign until the one in Judah reigns for 2 years. Now, I was thinking, no, that got to be the one that's from Judah. He just started his reign early. But that would make no sense. I'm trying to, make sense of something by lying about the word, about the word of God. That don't make no sense for me to lie. So now the question is, who is this Jehoram that's in Israel after 2 years of Jehoram that reigns in Judah? Who is that? And that tell you that's the empty space in Israel. Because if he doesn't reign till 2 years after, that means we have to wait till Jehoshaphat retire and Jehoram reigns, his son, for 2 years. Then you get a king in Israel. That's when you get a king in Israel. So I'm like, dang, so what they doing without a king? I know Ahaziah died. He fell through the lentis. Okay, cool. He died. But y'all don't get a king until Jehoshaphat's son, Jehoram, is king of Judah. And he has to rule for 2 years. And then y'all get a king? So who's ruling Israel while they're empty? I don't get that. So then I go on to the next page, right? I get to the next page and I say, all right, I understand that Jehoshaphat has a son named Jehoram. But I understand also that it says to the king of Israel that your son, it says, and Jehoram reigned in his stead in the second year of Jehoram, the son of Jehoshaphat. So that lets me know when the son of Jehoshaphat literally reigns for 2 years, wherever he reigns, maybe that's what I don't get. Maybe his reign is in Israel, not Judah. Because it keeps telling me, and Jehoram reigned in his stead. So what that means, in his stead, that means you took over for Ahaziah, who died. That's the king of Israel. You, Jehoram, are replacing him in Israel. You reigned in his stead, right? Right? And then you reigned. When you take that position, it says, you reign in his stead in the second year of Jehoram, the son of Jehoshaphat, king of Judah, because he had no son. So you don't take over Israel till the second year that you hear that the first Jehoram, which is of Judah, is reigning for 2 years. That's when you take over Israel, Jehoram. That's when they get a king. The second year. So now we're just waiting for Jehoshaphat to retire or die. And then Jehoram, his son, would reign. And when he reigned, he needs to reign for 2 years. And then Israel will find out Jehoram, with the same name, and reign in Israel after those 2 years. And I was like, what? So y'all ain't got no king until Jehoshaphat retires or die. And then his son reigns, and he has to reign for 2 years? All right. Then I flip the page. When I get to the next page, it says, Jehoram, the son of Ahab, began to reign over Israel in Samaria in the 18th year of Jehoshaphat, king of Judah, and reigned 12 years. Then I was like, wait a minute. Hold a minute. Wait a second. Jehoram reigned in Israel? How do you do that when you just said the Jehoram of Israel do not reign till Jehoshaphat's son Jehoram reigns for 2 years? But now you saying he started reigning in his father's time? You couldn't wait until his son started reigning in Judea first? But now you already got him reigning in Israel. I was like, how do I make sense of this? Because I believe in this book. How do I make sense of this? So I'm making this video to get some help. I'm like, wait a minute, hold on. is if I go back a page, it says, after Ahaziah died, so he died according to the word of the Lord, which Elijah had spoken. That's Ahaziah, the king of Judah. Israel. When he died, the king of Judah, not the king of Judah, I rebuke the devil in the name of Jesus Christ. I swear to God with my heart, because I'm reading to you the truth. So he died according to the word of the Lord, which Elijah had spoken against Ahab's son, Ahaziah, right? He died according because he tried to seek another God to know if he was going to die or not, or would he be healed of this disease, right? And it said, Jehoram reigned in his stead. That means somebody replaced that king. And his name is Jehoram. Reigned in his stead. In the second year of Jehoram, it's another Jehoram, the son of Jehoshaphat, king of Judah, because he had no son. Now, if I was to say Jehoshaphat's son is the one that went to Israel, I would have to wait till he ruled in Judah first. And after 2 years of ruling, then I would say he went and took over for Israel too. That would make sense. But then when you flip the page, you say to yourself, like, hold on. Because it says, now Jehoram, the son of Ahab. They gave him the title to be the son of Ahab. But he had no sons. Ahaziah had no son. It said that to you in the scripture before. He said, because he had no sons. Verse 17 of chapter 1. Right? He had no sons. Now, the next page in chapter 3, in chapter 3, it says, now Jehoram, yes, the son of Ahab, who had no kids, because your son Ahaziah had no kids, it said, right? But I understand we trace people lineage back to the primary king who left a history behind that made them renowned or known or famous. So Ahab was famous. So after Ahab was Ahaziah. After Ahaziah, they said this guy was born. His name said, they call him Jehoram, the same name that the king of Judah gave his son. Your name is Jehoram too. And there will not be a king in Israel until you rule in Judah for 2 years. But listen to this. Now Jehoram, the son of Ahab, began to reign over Israel in Smyrna the 18th year of Jehoshaphat. So this Jehoram, besides it telling us that there wouldn't be a Jehoram until there was a Jehoram ruling in Judah for 2 years, which is the son of Jehoshaphat. But we hear that there is a Jehoram in Israel, the next page over, which is chapter 3, saying that you ain't got to wait for them to have a ruler named Jehoram in Judah. We got a ruler right now that's the descendant of Ahab. And he began to rule in Smyrna the 18th year of Jehoshaphat, the father of Jehoram. We supposed to wait for his father to die or retire so that Jehoram, his son, can rule for 2 years, and then Jehoram, whoever that is, the other Jehoram, will rule in Israel. But it's already letting him rule in Israel while the father lives. I'm like, help! I need help. And they said about him, he wrought evil in the sight of the Lord, but not like his father and like his mother, for he put away the image of Baal that his father had made. Nevertheless, he cleaved unto the sins of Jeroboam, the son of Nebat, which made Israel to sin. He departed not therefrom. That lets you know, if you become a king of Israel, you become a descendant of the ancestry. Yeah, you become part of Israel. Part of them means you're known as the father, depending on the works you do. If you're from Judah and you do righteous works, you're known as a child of Judah. But if you go to Israel and you follow the steps of Jeroboam, you're known as his son. Just like anybody who follows the devil, you're called the devil. You're the son of the devil. You weren't born from no one, but you act like him, so you are his son. Okay. Then after I passed the story about Elisha and and the Shunammite and the people, I got to chapter 8. And I noticed, I said, wait a minute. What happened to Jehoram of Israel? His name changed, must have been. Because I went on the internet and I tried to search what happened to this man's history. They don't say who took up after him. They don't say when he died, nothing. But they said, and in the 5th year of Joram, the son of Ahab. When did you become the son of Ahab? I know of Jehoram. All I see is that you took the E and the H out of the way and just call him Joram. That's why people think he's Joram probably. And that the story continuation kept going without having a history of his descendant. So I'm like, what happened to the Jehoram who was supposed to rule in Israel after the Jehoram of Judah ruled for 2 years? What happened to him already? I don't see him. What happened to him? So now so now we're talking about a Joram. And everybody says, no, that's him. That's Jehoram. They just took 2 of his letters out of his name. But Joram is Jehoram. Yeah. And I went back and I said, how long was the Jehoram to rule in Israel? 12 years. Well, how long is this Joram supposed to rule? 20 years. I said, what? Are they sure that's the same guy? He ruled for 20 years, but the other one ruled for 12? Are you sure? You must have added. Man, if you think that's Joram, then that means you think he's Jehoram of Israel. Because I'm at Judah. Because out of both Jehoram, one ruled in Israel for 12 years and one ruled in Judah for 8 years. And I was like, maybe that was add up to the 20 years. So this is just a summary of the Jehoram who changed his name to Joram. He did 12 years in Israel, 8 years in Judah. 20 years. You see how they complicate stuff to make your mind think so much? But let me read it to you. And in the 5th year of Joram, the son of Ahab, king of Israel. We're just going to go with the story that this is Jehoram, but they took certain letters out of his name to make it Joram. Right? So, because we don't know what happened to the Jehoram, because his name was Gehoram. Now they just took the E and the H out and says Joram, Goram, period. So, he's the king of Israel now, because obviously his name was Jehoram when he was the king of Israel. But they're saying that's the same guy in the internet. So we're going to go with Joram. And in the 5th year of Joram, the son of Ahab, king of Israel, Jehoshaphat, being king of Judah, Jehoshaphat, being then king of Judah, he was still king. So if we thought that Joram, who we believe is Jehoram, according to the internet, is supposed to rule after the 2 years that Jehoram ruled in Judah, we're sadly mistaken, because he already started ruling Israel and did not wait to hear there was a king named Jehoram in Judah. Jehoshaphat is still king, his father. He did not die or retire. So it says, but listen to this. And in the 5th year of Joram, supposed to be Jehoram, but he changed the name to Joram, the son of Ahab, king of Israel, Jehoshaphat, being then king of Judah, Jehoram, who was supposed to rule first, then the king of Israel, Jehoram, was supposed to rule. It says, Jehoram, the son of Jehoshaphat, king of Judah, began to reign. Confused. The king Jehoram of Judah was supposed to reign for 2 years. Then the king of Jehoram of Israel was supposed to rule. But it says that his name changed, and that in the 5th year, the son of Jehoram, the son of Joram, Jehoram, ruled in Israel, and the son of Jehoshaphat, Jehoram, now saying Jehoram of Judah is coming to power, started to reign. I said, what? You mean you telling me there was never going to be a king that rules in Judah that's named Jehoram first, and then the king of Israel would have a Jehoram that would rule the second year of the king of Jehoram of Judah? You mean that never was going to happen? Okay. I believed it. Okay. Okay. So now now everybody says, and if they believe that, the same Jehoram, you got to say something's not right. Something's false. Because he's not supposed to take leadership or kingship until Judah has a Jehoram that ruled for 2 years. So if he's ruling before Jehoshaphat's son, Jehoram, ruled, what that tells you about this Bible or who wrote it? I'm not trying to doubt it because I believe in it too, but I'm just pointing out the obvious that somebody can help me. So if this is the Jehoram that was supposed to rule, and he's ruling before the Jehoram of Judah, and he ruled 5 years while his father ruled, Jehoshaphat, the king of Judah, before his son. He ruled 5 years, and then it tells you now. 8 chapters later, it says now, after the one they call Joram, who we believe is Jehoram that changed his name, after he ruled for 5 years. So forget the whole after 2 years of Jehoram of Judah. Let's just go off of the Jehoram that ruled for 5 years in Israel, so that we get rid of chapter 2. We don't want to hear that. But let's go with him changing his name in Israel from Jehoram to Joram, and let's say he ruled 5 years over there, and then the son of Jehoshaphat, that Jehoram, came alive. That's what it says. Jehoram, the son of Jehoshaphat, king of Judah, began to reign. 32 years old was he when he began to reign, and he reigned 8 years in Jerusalem. Why you think I said? Because the other Jehoram, they say he ruled in Israel for 12 years, and then in this one ruled for 8 years. That's 20 years. Because when you read about Joram, the one who changed his name that was in Israel, they supposedly claim, he reigned 20 years. So I added both of them up. The one in Israel, Jehoram, and the one in Jerusalem, Judea. And they came up to 20 years. But that still doesn't work. Because while he's ruling in while the one in Israel was ruling, Jehoshaphat, he started ruling in Jehoshaphat's 18th year, right? So after the 18th year, Jehoshaphat will only rule for 25 years. So that's 7 years left. So that's 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. That's 7 years. Then, if you believe that Jehoram that's in Israel is the same Jehoram that took over in Judah, then that means the 8 years began right after the 7 years, from the 18th of Jehoshaphat to the 25th. That's 7 years. Then 5 more years would make it 12 years. What that means, if he took over after the 25th year of the retirement of Jehoshaphat, then Jehoram would have to continue on ruling Judah and Israel for the next 5 years to make the 12 years in for Israel, and then 3 extra years to make it 8 for Judah. But that ain't the case, is it? Because after he does his 12 years, right, then he will be replaced by his son, Ahaziah, the king of Israel. Because it says down here in the scripture, it says, in the 20th year of Joram, who people believe is Jehoram, but he changed his name, the son of Ahab, king of Israel, did Ahaziah, the son of Jehoram, king of Judah, began to reign. Now, if Joram and Jehoram are the same people, but he changed his name, then Ahaziah is their son. Rather, he's Joram or Jehoram. Their son named Ahaziah. But they credit Judah the right to be called the king of Judah. Ahaziah has the right to be called the king of Judah. and he is called Ahaziah, the son of Jehoram, which Jehoram we believe is Joram, which y'all say, or Jehoram, depending on if you believe he changed his name or not. So it says, in the 20th year of Joram, the king of Ahab, because he's the king over there, so he's a descendant of Ahab, did Ahaziah, the son of Jehoram, king of Judah, began to reign. So if Jehoram, they call him Jehoram when they want to describe his son, and they want him to represent Judah, but they call him Joram according to the internet when they want him to represent Israel. So basically, his son is reigning in Judea. So it says, Jehoram, Ahaziah, the son of Jehoram, king of Judah, began to reign. 22 years old was Ahaziah when he began to reign, and he reigned 1 year in Jerusalem. And his mother's name was Athaliah, the daughter of Omri, the king of Israel. Right? Now, we understand that most likely Ahaziah is ruling in Judah, and the Jehoram, who changed his name Joram, is reigning still in Israel. I don't know if he's finishing his 12-year bid or if he's continuing to go on, but we know that Jehoshaphat has retired. He's done. Now, Jehoram is ruling, who we believe is the Jehoram who represents Israel and Judah. But when he represents Israel, he's Joram. When he represents Judah, he's Jehoram. So, the only reason why I could say he probably would go back into, try to understand their theology is because Jehoshaphat wanted to retire, or he was too old to do the job anymore. So what happened was Jehoram took over, well, not took over, but stayed in Israel and put his son in Judah, Ahaziah. Just like Jehoshaphat put his son, like they claim on the internet, in Israel first. That's why the 2 years that he's supposed to rule in Jerusalem, it don't make no sense to them because it never happened. Basically, they went by the third chapter where it says Jehoram was the king of Israel before he was the king of Judah, because it tell you in the second chapter that there was a king named Jehoram in Judah before there was one in Israel. Anyhow, long story short, it seemed like they reversed the roles according to the internet. He put Ahaziah in Judah, and he still kept ruling as Joram in Israel. Right? Okay, so Jehu is anointed as king, and that's the son of Jehoshaphat. That's the other son. This is the other son. Jehoram is the one that became king of Israel first, according to the internet, and then Jehu was the son we found out later on was the son of Jehoshaphat. Now, Jehu is gonna kill Joram, because this is what Joram says. And Joram turned his hands and fled, and said to Ahaziah, there is treachery O Ahaziah. And Jehu drew a bow with his full strength, and smote Jehoram between his arms, and the arrow went out at his heart, and he sunk down in his chariot. So Jehu slayed and killed Joram, right? But they call him, when they was killing him, see, listen to how he talked. And Joram turned his hand and fled. He ran away, right? He ran away and said to Ahaziah, who met him after he was wounded after the fight with the Syrians, after Hazael fight. So he went over there to see Joram. But then Jehu was anointed king, and he went to go fight them after their battle, right? Joram and Ahaziah, the king of Israel and the king of Judah, right? And then it says they always call him Joram. And they said Joram turned his hand and fled and said to Ahaziah, who was with him, to go meet Jehu to ask him, is it peace or is it war? So Jehu told him, no, it's no peace with you as long as you and the whoredom of Jezebel, or Jezebel, and the witchcraft are so many, right? So Jehu drew his bow with his full strength and smote Jehoram. That's when they came back and called him Jehoram. Now I can understand why people say that Joram changed his name to Jehoram changed his name to Joram, because it said that Joram fled. Then it said that when he drew his bow to kill him, his name was Jehoram. I was like, what? Y'all nicknaming people in this Bible? What? So they call him Jehoram. And Jehu drew a bow with his full strength and smote Jehoram. But they called him Joram when he fled between his armors, and the arrow went out at his heart, and he sunk down in his chariot. So bye-bye. There's Joram, whose real name is Jehoram. He's gone, which is the son of Jehoshaphat. He's out of there. Right? Now, who's left? Ahaziah, his son, king of Judah. There's no more king of Israel. Right? Listen to this chapter. Listen to this verse, number 27 of chapter 9. But when Ahaziah, the king of Judah, saw this, he fled by the way of the garden house. And Jehu followed after him and said, smite him also in the chariot. And they did so at the going up to Gur, which is by Iblim or Ablim, and fled to Mizgah or Megiddo, and died there. So they killed the king of Israel, and they killed his son, the Ahaziah, supposedly, his son, king of Judah. Because you got to remember, Joram is Jehoram. And he put his son in his father's place, Jehoshaphat, who died. So now you got the king of Judah and the king of Israel are related. But when you put a king in Israel and they act the same way as the old king, they're known by that descendant or that family, even though he is a descendant of Judah. All right. So when I read that, I said, wow, this is complicated. Very much is. So Jehu is ruling in Israel now, which is the other son of Jehoshaphat. Jehoshaphat had Jehu, and he had Jehoram, who changed his name to Joram. And he killed Joram, who changed his name to from Jehoram to Joram. And he killed his son, Ahaziah, which is the same name as the king of Israel, who had a son that died and had no kids. Right? Don't ask me, it's complicated. So, after that, they killed Jezebel. And I don't know nothing after that, because after that, I'm like, all right, this Jehoram seems suspicious to me. I don't know who he really is. Because when I did the math on him, really I did, I said, the Jehoram of Israel, who started before the Jehoram of Judah, he started in the 18th year of Jehoshaphat. And they say he would rule for 12 years. So if he started the 18th year and Jehoshaphat would retire at 25 years, right? Or quit at 25 years. That means from the 18th to the 25, that's 7 years later, that this Jehoram ruled in Israel after Ahaziah died and fell through the upper room. 7 years later, a Jehoram would come. In the internet, they say that's Ahaziah's brother because he had no kids, or his uncle, or something like that. But he's not supposed to rule in Israel until 2 years after the Jehoram, the one that has the same name, rules in Judah for 2 years. After 2 years, then you would see Jehoram of Israel come about. But that didn't happen. They put the Jehoram of Israel first, while the Jehoram father of Judah ruled still. I was like, what? You mean he's not gonna get the rule in Judah for 2 years, then Jehoram of Israel will rule? Nope. So then I said to myself, maybe Jehoshaphat put his son in Israel. But then that would defeat the purpose of saying that after he ruled for 2 years. Now, I don't know if it said he ruled in Judah for 2 years. Actually, that's just thinking about it. It just says, and Jehoram reigned in his stead. So he ruled in Israel in the second year of Jehoram, the son of Jehoshaphat, king of Judah, because he had no son. So you know what? I probably am wrong. Maybe it's trying to tell me that the son of Jehoshaphat reigned for 2 years in Jerusalem. That was his second year, right? So that would explain that. That would be his second year ruling as a king, but he's not ruling in Judah. He's ruling in Israel. That's why it says, and Jehoram reigned in his stead in the second year of Jehoram, the son of Jehoshaphat, king of Judah, because he had no son. That's probably what it is. Because he had no son, Jehoshaphat put his son in Israel to rule, and he ruled, and it was his second year ruling, right? Then I said, okay, how long is he supposed to rule? Then I flipped the page, and I see he started ruling. His son started ruling the 18th year of Jehoshaphat, his father. So while his father was ruling in Judah, he ruled in Israel starting the 18th year of his father, king of Judah, and reigned 12 years. So his son reigned for 12 years in Israel. Let's add it up. So if he started in the 18th year of his father, that's 2 makes 20. And then it says his father only reigned for 25 years. So from the 18th to the 25th would be because 25 is 25 years. And he started in the 18th year. That leaves 7 years, right? 7 years. So he ruled in Israel for 7 years before his father retired. Now, let's see when his father retired, who took over? Judah. Who took over Judah when his father retired? Because when I go to the chapter that tells me next, it's gonna say his name is no longer Jehoram. He changed it to Joram. I was like, oh, confused me. All right. So he ruled in Israel for 2 years as Jehoram, right? Why do I say that? Because it says when he changed his name, though he ruled for 7 years, but he ruled as Jehoram for 2 years, then he changed it to Joram, according to the internet. Because it says, if not, we have a switch of kings. It says, in the 5th year of Joram, the son of Ahab, king of Israel. I was like, what? I thought his name was Jehoram. Son of Ahab. They call him Jehoram. But now I get to the 8th chapter and you tell me his name is Joram. What happened to the Jehoram that started to rule the 18th year of Jehoshaphat, king of Judah? What happened to him? So everybody tells me that is him. They just took some letters out and shortened his name. Nicknamed him Joram. So I was like, in the 5th year of Joram, the son of Ahab, king of Israel, Jehoshaphat being then king of Judah, Jehoram, there's the name, Jehoram, the son of Jehoshaphat, the king of Judah, began to reign. So his son, Jehoshaphat's son, started to reign the 5th year of who we think Joram, who changed his name from Jehoram to Joram, we think and say, man, I thought Jehoram was Jehoshaphat's son put in Israel to rule. And he ruled the 18th year of Jehoshaphat. And he changed his name to Joram. So that means 2 years we know him as Jehoram, but then when Jehoshaphat was retiring, which is his 25th year, he changed his name, I believe, because he said, when he called himself Joram, it was, they said, and in the 5th year of Joram. So they called him for 5 years Joram. So out of the 7, 2 years they call him Jehoram. And then the last 5 years, which was to start on the 20th year, because Jehoshaphat only ruled for 25 years. So the last 5 years they was calling him Joram. I was like, all right, cool, no problem. But then it tells you that Jehoshaphat's son, Jehoram, began to reign. I thought we agreed that he was ruling in Israel, and for 2 years he called himself Jehoram. Then the last 5 years, he called himself Joram. And now it's telling you that Jehoshaphat's son began to reign in Judah. But why he didn't reign in Judah as Joram? No, he changed his name for Yah's sake in Israel. But his father kept calling him Joram. Jehoram. I was like, all right, no problem. I get the mix and matching. In Israel, you can call him Joram. And he took over for his father, who retired on his 25th year. And he kept his name, Jehoram. So I'm like, all right, no problem. Cool. So he fought against Edom. And he did all those things. Then I get to the last thing where it says, in the 20th year of Joram, who changed his name from Jehoram to Joram. But in the 20th year, so that means he did 12 in Israel. And now, in his last completion, which he said 8 years in Judah. This is just the assumption of the internet. In the last year of Joram, which is the 8 years, and it doesn't say, I don't know why you would call him Joram. If in Judah he called himself Jehoram. Why would you call him Joram? I ain't get that. But they said, but that's him. They just calling him by his nickname. So it says, in the 20th year of Joram, the son of Ahab, king of Israel, did Ahaziah, the son of Jehoram, king of Judah, begin to reign. You know what? If that's the same Jehoram, or Joram is the same as Jehoram, if that's him, they said he only ruled for 12 years in Israel. Why you got him down for 20 years? Ruling in Israel as the son of Ahab. Why y'all got that on the internet? Y'all making me think. You said only 12 years, but you gave him an extra 8 years. The 8 years is supposed to be counted for Judah. But they said son of Ahab. And then he says, did Ahaz, the son of Jehoram, king of Judah, began to reign? What? So, in the 20th year of Joram, son of Ahab, king of Israel, did Ahaziah, the son of Jehoram, king of Judah, begin to reign. So if that's the same Jehoram who changed the name to Joram, who ruled in Israel, and then his father retired, and he ruled in Israel as Joram, but he ruled Judah as Jehoram. If that's him, right? Why do they say he has 20 years as king in Israel? Why? It says in the other chapters he only did it for 12. But they say the one that you said changed his name has only 20, has changed his name, he done 20 years. Then Ahaziah, which is the son of the one that's called Jehoram, king of Judah, has a son named Ahaziah, and he was 20 and 2 years old when he began to reign. And he reigned in Jerusalem for 1 year. Right? Then later on it tells you how Jehu was made king over. Jehu was anointed king, and he killed Joram, who's supposed to be Jehoram, which they call him Jehoram because when he pulled back the bow and arrow and slinged it, he killed him, and they said Jehoram fled and he killed. First they said Jehu drew a bow with his full strength and smote Jehoram. But before he smote him, you know what they called him? And Joram turned his hands and fled and said, Ahaziah, there is treachery, O Ahaziah. And Jehu drew his bow with his full strength and smote Jehoram. I thought it was Joram that ran, but it's called him Jehoram. And so he drew his bow with his full strength and smote Joram between his arms, and the arrow went out at his heart, and he sunk down in his chariot, and he was killed. And then Jehu chased after Ahaziah and killed him. So he killed the king of Israel and he killed the king of Judah, which is supposedly they are related. So if you see this video and you can explain that to me, and you're a pastor, please break it down to me. So notice that it says, and Jehu drew a bow and with his full strength and smote Jehoram between his armor, and the arrow went out at his heart, and he sunk down in his chariot. So it says Jehu killed him. He killed them. Then said Jehu to Bidkar, his captain, take up and cast him into the portion of the field of Naboth, the Jezreelite. For remember how that when I and thou rode together after Ahab his father, the Lord laid this burden upon him. Surely I have seen yesterday the blood of Naboth and the blood of his son, saith the Lord, and I will requite thee in this plat, saith the Lord. Now therefore take and cast him into the plat of ground according to the word of the Lord. Then he killed Ahaziah after that. Right? And it tells you that Jehoram, the son of Jehoshaphat, king of Judah, began to reign 32 years old. 32 years old was he when he began to reign, and he reigned in Jerusalem. Right? It said he was killed by a bow and arrow. Right? But tell me why in 2 Chronicles. Let me see him. I'm going to try to find it for you. Sorry. 2 Chronicles says this. Jehoram's death and burial. 32 years old was he when he began to reign, and he reigned in Jerusalem 8 years and departed without being desired. How about they buried him in the city of David, but not in the scepter of the kings, right? That's Jehoram. This is how he died. And after all this, the Lord smote him in his bowels with an incredible disease. I don't know why they said they shot him with a bow and arrow. And it came to pass that in the process of time, after the end of 2 years, his bowels fell out by reason of sickness, so he died of sore disease. And his people made no burning for him, like the burning of his fathers. 32 years old was he when he began to reign, and he reigned in Jerusalem 8 years and departed without being desired. How about they buried him in the city of David, but not in the scepter of the kings? Is that the same king? Yes, it is. It is. Because it says Jehoram, the son of Jehoshaphat, king of Judah, began to reign. 32 years old was he when he began to reign, and he reigned 8 years in Jerusalem. Same king. But they say this one died by a bow and arrow. If you say that Jehoshaphat, son Jehoram, changed his name to Joram, then that would make sense. Because it tells you later on in this scripture, after chapter 8, you go to chapter 9, it tells you, and Jehu drew a bow with his full strength and smote Jehoram between his armors, and the arrow went out at his heart, and he sunk down in his chair. Please help me if you can. Please help me. I'm stuck between Joram and his death and how he died with Second Chronicles. Let me see if I can find it. Second Chronicles chapter 21 verse 18 to verse 20. 18 to 20. Second Chronicles 21 verse 20 to 20. Second Chronicles chapter 21 verse 18 to 20. Please help me out. It's the same Jehoram of I don't know. Maybe it's not the same. Maybe Joram. The Joram is not the same as Jehoram that changed his name. It's not. Maybe it's not his changed his name. I'm not sure. But I don't know why Jehu said he slain Jehoram. And that just tells me that the king of Judah, how he died. But then Second Chronicles says that's not how he died. I don't get that. So if you get this video, please help me out. Please help me understand. I'm really desperate to understand. I don't know if I'm seeing right or seeing wrong. I'm not sure. Please help me out if you can. Going through it a lot. Any pastor out there, just reach out to me. All right. God bless y'all.